from an exciting Bad Influence in which I'll be explaining how you can blow Violet Berlin to smithereens in a great new package that lets you create your own games.
We've got a first look at the latest games on the Jaguar Super Console.
And in a major world exclusive, Violet visits the top secret headquarters of the producers of this year's hottest game, Donkey Kong Country.
Now, there are loads of so-called super consoles on the horizon. In fact, later in the show, we've got a world exclusive of Nintendo's next-generation machine, the Ultra 64. But there is a 64-bit machine already in the shops, the technologically advanced Jaguar.
But it's been difficult to get hold of a Jaguar. The company who make it, Atari, were running out of money, so they couldn't afford to advertise it properly or manufacture enough to meet demand. Consequently, gameplay companies were reluctant to develop software for it.
But last week, some good news, a massive vote of confidence from video games giant Sega. They decided to invest in Atari, which means there should be loads of games for it, including Sega hits like Virtua Racing.
But the big hit this Christmas will undoubtedly be Alien vs Predator. It's a 3D strategy game with a lot more to it than just mindless shooting. It's really 3 games in one. You can choose to play any of 3 beings. You can be the alien when your task is to rescue the alien queen from the Predator's spaceship. If you fancy yourself as the Predator, your task is to capture the alien queen. And if you're a real glutton for punishment and choose to play as the colonial marine, you wake up to find yourself alone, surrounded by aliens, predators and dead humans, with no memory of who you are or why you're there.
This is a new racing game called Club Drive. It's so new, it's not finished. We've only got it on chips at the moment. It's like a cross between Micro Machines and hard driving. You can race around an accurate San Francisco cityscape, travel back through time and tear up an old western town, or jump forward in time to Future World. You can even shrink to matchbox size and whiz around a fully furnished flat. Every format needs its own beat-em-up, and this is the Jaguars. It's called Kasumi Ninja, and the gore level makes Mortal Kombat look like Barbie goes shopping. Of course, there'll be loads of new versions of old favourites. This is Doom, the special edition. It claims to have more levels, better graphics and smoother scrolling. Our advice? Well, it's a great machine. It's available now and there should be loads of software for it. But don't forget that the other super consoles, the PlayStation, Saturn and the Ultra 64, will be out next year.
Aha! Greetings, virtual Furtlers. I'm just about to test my new homemade virtual reality system, which should work with any game. I'm going to try it with Pete Sampras Tennis on the Mega Drive. But first, a quick cheat to make it a bit more exciting. On the password screen, which you'll find in World Tour, type in the word Zeppelin, so we've got an I and an N to go. Go down to End, and you'll come across a game called Crazy. And when you start to play, you'll come across all sorts of strange obstacles and all sorts of things popping up all over the court. Look at that big egg. Bizarre. And now, Furtlers, to try it out in virtual reality. It works! It really works! Whoa, 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 I better get into the game. Right, whoa, whoa. What about this one? Hey, whoa.
He cannot be serious, can he? Our main review this week is Sonic & Knuckles. Don't yawn, I know it's the 5th Sonic game, but it does boast a lot of extra gameplay. You can still play as Sonic, continuing your quest to save the floating island from the evil Dr. Robotnik. Nothing terribly new and exciting there, then. But you can also play as Knuckles, he of the red dreadlocks. Knuckles is the keeper of the Chaos Emeralds, out to sabotage Sonic as much as he can. And there's more. This is the first ever lock-on cartridge, which allows you to play a game within a game. It works like this. Just switch it off. If you plug Sonic 2 into Sonic & Knuckles, you can then play Sonic 2 as Knuckles with all Knuckles' special moves. For example, there's Knuckles doing his fantastic glide. And when you plug Sonic 3 into Sonic & Knuckles, you get a much bigger game than the original, with loads of new areas and more emeralds to collect. Right, that's the technical jiggery-pokery out of the way. What's it like to play? Here's Ben.
This is exactly what you expect from Sonic. Good looks, high quality. There's nothing very surprising in this game, but it's excellent value and very playable. I've just got a power-up there. It means I can fly across the screen as a fireball that kills anything in its path. This is rather difficult. You've got to jump on the platforms and time it perfect. This is still the same old Sonic bouncing around, but it's got some really nice touches. This is one of them. It is actually more difficult than it looks. Knuckles is a great new character. This is one of his signature moves, climbing up walls. Sonic can't do that. Another one of his signature moves is gliding, which you can see here. I still prefer to be Sonic though, because he's much faster. If you haven't got any Sonic games, then this is a good one to get. But if you have got Sonic 2 or 3, it's still a good buy because it upgrades the old games.
He's still fun to play, but you just get the feeling you've seen it all before.
I haven't played Sonic for ages, and I'd forgotten how much fun he is.
And the scores for Sonic and Knuckles, both the boys and the girls gave it a backwardly compatible 4 out of 5.
Now, here's a game I can thoroughly recommend. It's an old-fashioned space shoot-'em-up called Androids. I designed it myself using a package called Click and Play, which allows you to design your own games without turning into a sad techie. Now, you can either start from scratch or you can use one of 10 basic games that comes with it, and that's what I did. I'll show you. So all the basic games are of different genres. This is our old-fashioned space shoot-'em-up. As you can see, it's all right, but it's a bit dull, isn't it, with those blue spinny things? I'm going to change those to Andy's face. Go to Level Editor, so I can fiddle about, and here we are. Now, I want to get pictures of Andy's face, so what I've done is I've got this photograph of Andy and scanned it in using a colour scanner. That was earlier on, so he should be in there. Let's look for him. There he is. Now what I need to do is go to these blue spinny things, which I'm trying to replace, and edit them. And to select all the blue spinny things, get rid of them by deleting, and copy in, paste in Andy's face, so I can shoot him instead. Most gratifying.
Creating a game from scratch is a little more difficult. This is the Click and Play instruction manual. You don't have to be able to write program code, but you do have to be able to think creatively to make your game worth playing. Start at the very beginning. On the left here, all the stuff you can put in your new game. Now, the first thing you need is a background. I think that one's appropriate. And then some bits and pieces for your characters to walk on. So we'll put one there, a short one over here, that one in there. Right, now they can't get up from those without some ladders, so we'll pop those in there. There's 1, 2, that should do it, 3. OK, now you have things you have to kill. Let's put a Nam there, a Nam there, because let's face it, there is time when you'd like to kill Nam. Don't want Violet to feel left out, so we'll stick a few Violets in as well. And just because it's my item, I'll put myself in there as well. OK, scores. Player 1. I'm only going to make this a one-player game for speed. I'll put my player 1 score there. So if we pop that there... Now, oh, that's no good. Let's move that a little bit straight. OK, that's player 1. Now we need a character to use in the game. Kung Fu guy or normal guy? Oh, normal guy, I think. Let's put Mr. Normal Guy down here by me. OK, that's the basics of the game sorted out. Now we have to tell the computer what happens when our character does things to the bits we put in the game. So we go to the event editor. So normal guy against Nam. We want to put a sound effect in for when that collision happens. What about this one? Yeah, I like the sound of that one. We'll pop that one in there. Scores are very important, of course. So set the score. No, add to score. Every time normal guy goes over Nam, we'll give him 10 points. And what happens to Nam after normal guy's gone over him? Well, I'm afraid he gets destroyed. So there we go. Collision between normal guy and Nam means that sound effect, 10 to your score, and Nam destroyed. We'll just make sure the game's working. Let's see if that's worked. There we go. 10 to your score, and Nam disappears each time. Obviously, Andy and Violet aren't disappearing because I haven't done that yet. That's basically how the game works. If you're going to do a big platform game, you've got to spend hours and hours and hours doing it, and I have done, and this is one I did earlier. And this is it, my finished two-player platformer. All I've got to do now is think of a name for it. What about Violet the Hedgehog?
Yeah, great game, Andy. And here are some more in this week's News and Previews.
The people who brought you Road Rash have a new car race game up their sleeve. This is the Need for Speed on the 3DO. As in all the best race games, you get viewpoints from inside and outside the car. The game features some spectacular scenery, excellent digitised sound, and just like in Road Rash, the speed police are everywhere.
Street Racer is a very different kind of race game. This one's more for Mario Kart fans. Before you start to play, check out the character profiles to see the different styles of attack on offer. Helmut, for instance, can turn his car into a triplane to bamboozle the opposition. And the game boasts a unique 4-player option. Street Racer's due out on the SNES next month.
And now some good news. Games companies are doing their bit for children's charities this Christmas. They're clubbing together to release 3 compilations which should raise £1 million for some very worthy causes. The CD-ROM pack will feature 10 titles for under £40. There'll be a 6-game Amiga bundle and a Mega Drive triple pack for £30 each.
Take that, Bluebeard! Whoa! Oh, phew. Hello again, virtual Furtlers. Just having a quick game of virtual reality swashbuckle. And you're just in time because I'm about to try out one of my favourite games, Super Bomberman on the SNES. I'm going to start off gently with a special small version of the game. Now, to get this, on the password screen, type in 5656. And when you start to play, you get this miniature sprite. Hey, it'll look great in VR. Whoa! Whoa!
And now a major world exclusive. Donkey Kong Country on the SNES is set to be the hottest game of the year when it's released next month. The producers of Donkey Kong Country have been very shy about showing the game in public. Very few people have actually seen it, except, of course, you, the Bad Influence viewers. The company are very secretive, and no TV crews and certainly very few journalists have ever been allowed into their offices until now, because a couple of weeks ago, Violet Berlin and the Bad Influence crew journeyed to the heart of England to visit the producers of Donkey Kong Country.
You get to go to some pretty interesting places working on Bad Influence, and today's a rare opportunity to see something very special. Even the ducks here are rare, but I'm not here to study the local wildlife. No, today I've trekked to the heart of England, to a top-secret location in deepest Warwickshire. This company is rare for lots of reasons. They only develop games for Nintendo, they've just invented a new way to create SNES games, and, above all, they're called Rare.
This is the first of the next generation of SNES games, Donkey Kong Country. When the Donkey Kong character appeared in the early 80s, he was Mario's arch-enemy. Now he's changed his ways and become a good guy, with a menagerie of animal helpers. All the characters were created using an entirely new technique. This is Diddy, Donkey Kong's monkey helper. To produce him, the programmers built a wireframe model inside their powerful Silicon Graphics computer.
With Donkey Kong Country, Rare were the first software producers to use serious hardware like this to produce graphics of a different class.
The SGI machine was also used to shade the wireframe model so they could check Diddy out in 3D. When they were completely happy with the way he looked outside, they started work on his insides. They programmed him with an accurate skeleton so he could only bend in the right places. That made the next job a lot easier, making him move. You may have spotted that Diddy runs along in a very realistic way. That's because the programmers modelled him from real life. One of them popped around the corner to Twyford Cross Zoo with his home video camera, and it certainly seems to have had an interesting effect on this programmer. The next task was to build the different Donkey Kong worlds. Each world has textures and shapes scanned in from real life. Ferns, trees, and even a rusty shovel. The textures are wrapped around more wireframe models. There are up to 3 different layers in each background to give a feeling of depth and movement as the characters move through the game. The graphics are so good that when it was first revealed, nobody believed the game was really running on the SNES.
In the game, if you want to get ahead, get a banana, the more the merrier. So, the programmers have devised clever ways of arranging them everywhere. This is what's known as the banana editor, and it lets you put the bananas anywhere you want in the game. Here's one I prepared earlier.
I finally got to meet one of Rare's founders, Tim Stamper, in his dark den.
So, Tim, what's so special about Donkey Kong Country?
It looks amazing because it's all in 3D. If these characters were real and they lived, that's what they look like.
Now, take me to your favourite level.
I'll take you to the snow level.
The snow level was the most difficult to program. It took 48 hours of computer time to build up a single scene. The blizzard sequence has a level of realism never seen before in a SNES game.
So why is this your favourite?
I think the effect was dynamite.
It's really a massive blizzard now, and the snowflakes nearer us are much bigger.
Yes, they are. There's multi-parallaxing layers of snow, maybe 12 or 14 layers, still with the backgrounds on screen, so quite a feat on Super NES.
And that was only possible... Oh, I died. Well, it was snowing quite horribly.
It was,
Can
yeah.
be forgiven. Yet another rare sighting, a glimpse of Nintendo's next-generation super console, the Ultra 64. This is Killer Instinct, one of the first games to be developed on it. It'll be in the arcades at the end of this year and on the identical home version at the end of 1995. Hey, check out this 27-hit combo.
Victory!
Well, it's been a rare old day, and I'll be the first person to ever visit Donkey Kong's treehouse. This is Violet Berlin reporting from level 97, Donkey Kong Country, Warwickshire.
Fantastic. And remember, you saw it first here on Bad Influence. The real test, though, isn't in great graphics and brilliant sound. It's in the gameplay, and we'll be reviewing it in full the day before it's released on November the 18th. In the meantime, here's what our panel thought of some more of this week's releases.
The story of Bruce Lee comes to life on console with the release of Dragon, a martial arts beat-em-up with a difference. To play this game properly, you've got to learn strategic moves. If you've got a multi-tap, up to 3 players can be Bruce Lee at once. Here's Hannah with the SNES version.
This plays quite differently from something like Mortal Kombat 2. The fights last much longer and it's more realistic. Nobody shoots fireballs from the fingers. Here I am playing in the Seattle gym against this guy who looks like one of the Jackson 5. The game gets much harder as you go along, but you pick up new skills which help you. There are no finishing moves, and that's why the fights last so long. This is an unusual fighting game, because no matter what level you're on, you always play as Bruce Lee. The thing I like about this game is that on some levels you can play against 2 opponents, which makes it more of a challenge. Personally, I prefer Mortal Kombat. It's easier to get into and more fun. But if you like a serious challenge, this is for you.
I got tired of this pretty quickly because the fights take so long to complete.
It's a great-looking game, but I didn't find it as playable as other beat-em-ups.
And the scores for Dragon, the girls gave it a karate-tastic 4 out of 5, and the boys gave it a chop-mungus 4 out of 5. It's a hit.
Probotector makes his first outing on a handheld system with Probotector 2 for the Game Boy. Just like in the original NES and SNES versions, he's a special sort of mega robot charged with protecting the Earth from alien invasion. Keep your finger on that fire button. Here's Harry.
This is for hardened Blasphemous fans only. If you're into death and destruction, you'll love it. This is the overhead view. There isn't really a lot of strategy involved in this game. You just have to try and shoot everything that you see. Here I'm trying to kill a mutant centipede type thing. But it's a bit of a slog, really. This would be great on a long car journey. It's pretty mindless stuff, but it's a really good blast.
This gets a bit monotonous after a while. It's just an average shoot-'em-up.
It's just walk and shoot, but it's actually surprisingly playable.
And so the scores for Probotector 2. The boys gave it 4 out of 5, and the girls an average 3.
Phew, that was a close shave, Furtlers. I've made a few adjustments, so all should be well with my next VR experience. I've connected up to Lost Vikings on the Amiga, and I've arranged to be whisked to the big alien on the 36th level by typing in MSTR on the password screen. Right, big alien. Here comes Giant Nam. Oh no! I said Giant Nam! The headset's stuck. I can't get it off. Help! Help!
We had 2 competition prizes last week, a SNES with an Earthworm Jim game and a Mega Drive with an Earthworm Jim game. And the competition question was, how many eyes does an earthworm have? Well, it's a trick question, obviously, because earthworms don't have any eyes at all. So the correct answer was none. We got over 17,000 entries, but our 2 lucky winners are Michael Keane from Great Yarmouth and Ben Clark from Hull. Well done to the 2 of you. 10 runners-up get Bad Influence T-shirts.
This week's competition prize is a SNES and a copy of the game Dragon, and the question is, whose life story is told in the movie Dragon? Phone in your answers on 0891 555 999. Calls will cost no more than 25p, and lines close at midnight on Monday. But make sure you get permission from whoever pays the phone bill, because you can't win if you don't ask permission.
That's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the programme. We'll leave you with another clip from our world-exclusive Killer Instinct. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.